everyone, welcome to the QuesterMage and welcome back to another No Man's Sky video on the Nintendo Switch. For a while now I have wondered if the Nintendo Switch version of No Man's Sky would be playable with a mouse and keyboard. And today that's exactly what I want to talk about. What does work, what doesn't, and what I think about it overall. So sit back, relax, click like, subscribe, and hopefully enjoy. Here we go. Please keep in mind that the game is currently at version 4.2.2. The functionality of mouse and keyboard can always change in the future. Now, I really like the Joy-Con. They are great little controllers, especially when using gyro controls to aim. No Man's Sky itself is much more enjoyable to me since gyro controls were added. But I did start to wonder, what if someone prefers playing this type of game with a mouse and keyboard? And would they be even able to do so? So I connected a mouse and keyboard to my Nintendo Switch dock for TV mode and to a Hori stand for tabletop mode. The keyboard and mouse that I used were connected with a single 2.4 GHz USB connector with no other adapters. I am assuming the results would be the same if anyone used a similar type of dongle. I did not, however, try to use a separate keyboard and mouse. So, what does work? Well, the keyboard seems to work pretty well. Once you press a button on the keyboard itself, the keyboard mapping just appears in-game. I was quite surprised to see this work straight away. You can see here the UI updates seamlessly in-game and also changes in the menus. The control bindings page unfortunately only displays the Nintendo Switch as you can see on screen, and no button mapping was shown or available to keybind. All of the keys are the default ones that you find when playing the game on computer. The mouse works-ish, but only in the menus. You can navigate around the screen and it pretty much works like on the computer, but there are issues, which I'll get into in the next section. The right and mouse buttons both work in-game and in the menus, which is really cool. However, the other mouse buttons didn't work. So what doesn't work? For some weird reason, the mouse didn't work at all when I tried to look around during gameplay. I did think that with gyro controls being added, maybe the mouse would work with the gyro controls toggled to on. Unfortunately, it didn't. It is very weird that the mouse works in the menus but doesn't work in the gameplay itself. Like I said before, there are issues even when you use the mouse in the menus. It doesn't work 100%. The left and right mouse buttons work both in menus and outside of menus. In the menus, the mouse would hit an invisible wall of sorts and wouldn't move past that point. You can see here I went through several tabs in the inventory. It seems like those invisible walls were different from tab to tab. This does seem to change though, as sometimes I could reach the options at the top. Unfortunately, I didn't get capture of that, but I was able to do that after. But most of the time, I couldn't. Now, I did try to change some of the options in the options menu to try and get this to work, but again, unfortunately, I couldn't get it to do so. I tried changing the gyro controls to always on as opposed to being only visor and firing. That didn't work. I even tried changing some of the ways that the camera reacts when you move it. As you can see on screen, I changed it from player to local, but again, unfortunately, none of this worked. Lastly, I do think that mouse and keyboard controls should work on Nintendo Switch. I just don't see why not. If it works in the menu, why wouldn't it work in the gameplay? It seems like the controls are there and baked into the game, but they've been limited when it comes to the player actually using them. I do think that adding this feature would at least allow users to choose the control method that they prefer. As I mentioned, I really like the Joy-Con, but the game does feel different when playing with a keyboard and mouse. As an example, I love arcade games on the Nintendo Switch, but I prefer playing those with an arcade stick, as opposed to playing them with the Joy-Con. Another reason is the Nintendo Switch version of the game might be the only version that people have to play. Some people have old computers, other people might not have a computer at all. Why not allow players to choose the control method which they enjoy the most? If keyboard and mouse controls were added to the Nintendo Switch version, I can see the game being played in docked mode, but playing it this way makes me look at the Nintendo Switch and think, wow, it could literally be a small No Man's Sky dedicated machine. And I think that idea is really cool. Also, if you have Joy-Con drift, this could be another choice for you to play the game. Overall, this is just an idea that I had that I think would be pretty cool to do with the Nintendo Switch. I was looking at my desk and thought playing this game on a Switch with a keyboard and mouse would completely surprise anyone that would walk into the room, as they would just assume that the game would be running on a computer. But the revelation that it's running on a Switch would just bring a smile to everyone's faces, and hopefully more people could see how impressive this little hybrid console really is. But that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you very much again for watching. If you like what I do here, please click that like button down below. It helps out the channel a lot. If you want to see more, please click that subscribe button, as that is the only way this channel can grow. Now, I hope you liked this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. And until then, thanks again.